Why God Kept You Poor. In a land shaped by dust and sunlight, where roads were long and hearts were often tested, there lived a man named Josiah. He was faithful in worship, careful in his ways, and honest in his dealings. Yet despite all this, Josiah remained poor. He worked from morning until evening. He prayed at dawn and again at night. He gave what little he had and asked for nothing in return. And still, his hands were empty. Many around him grew prosperous. Their houses expanded, their fields multiplied, and their tables overflowed. Josiah watched them quietly, not with envy, but with confusion. One evening, after another long day, Josiah sat alone beneath the open sky. The stars were bright, and the wind was gentle, yet his heart felt heavy, and he spoke to God. "Lord," he said, "I have followed your ways. I have not turned aside. Why, then, do you keep me poor?" The heavens did not thunder. The earth did not shake. But God listened. That night, Josiah dreamed. In his dream, he found himself walking along a narrow path. On one side stood towering houses filled with gold and fine garments. On the other side stood small homes, simple and worn. And a voice said to him, "Walk, and I will show you." Josiah first entered a great house filled with wealth. Inside he saw a man counting his riches. But the man's face was tense, and his eyes were restless. Guards stood at every door, and fear filled every corner. The voice spoke again. "This man has much, but he trusts nothing. His wealth has made him anxious, not secure." Josiah continued walking and came to another house, even greater than the first. Inside sat a family at a long table. Yet they did not speak kindly to one another. Each protected their portion, afraid of loss. The voice said, "Their wealth has divided their hearts." Then Josiah was led to a small home, much like his own. The table was simple. The walls were plain. But there was peace in that place. The people inside prayed together, shared freely, and slept without fear. And the voice said, "They have little, yet they lack nothing." Josiah asked, "Lord, why do you give abundance to some and withhold it from others?" And the voice answered, "I do not measure abundance as man does." The path continued, and Josiah saw himself standing before God. And God spoke to him, not in anger, but with great gentleness. "You ask why I kept you poor," the Lord said. "Listen carefully, for my reasons are many. I kept you poor so that your heart would remain soft. Had I given you wealth too soon, you would have trusted in gold instead of me. I kept you poor so that you would learn gratitude for small blessings. For the one who cannot give thanks for little will never be satisfied with much. I kept you poor so that pride would not take root in you. Wealth reveals what is already in the heart, and your heart was still being formed." Josiah listened, and his spirit trembled. The Lord continued, "I kept you poor so that you would recognize the cries of the needy. A full hand often forgets the empty one. I kept you poor so that your prayers would remain sincere, for many speak to me only when they have nothing left. I kept you poor because I was teaching you to depend on me daily, not occasionally." Josiah remembered how often he had spoken with God, how closely he had walked with him in his need. He began to understand. The Lord said, "Some I bless with wealth as a test. Others I bless with lack as protection. Not everyone can carry riches without losing their soul." "Would you still seek me," God asked, "if I removed your need for me?" Josiah fell to his knees. He realized then that poverty had not been punishment. It had been preparation. God spoke one final time. "Know this, poverty is not holiness, and wealth is not sin, but the heart must be ready for whatever it holds. When the right time comes, I give freely, and when I withhold, I do so in love. Josiah awoke as the morning light entered his home. His circumstances had not changed. His purse was still light. His house was still small, but his heart was full. From that day on, Josiah no longer asked, "Why am I poor?" Instead, he prayed, "Lord, shape my heart to hold whatever you choose to give." And the people noticed that, though he had little, he walked in peace. Though he lacked riches, he carried wisdom. And though his hands were empty, his life was rich before God. For the Lord does not always give what we desire. He gives what we need to save the heart, to guard the soul, and to prepare us for eternity. And blessed is the one who understands that God's delays are not denials, and his withholding is often mercy in disguise.